Is good, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new edition of El Boogie and The Bell. I am the Bell, of course, joined here with El Boogie. El Boogie, how are we doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great. We are in the middle of one of the most exciting times of year. We got the NFL draft coming up on Thursday, so that's only 3 days, 4 days from now. And we are in the midst of round one of the NBA playoffs. So it's exciting
Round one.
stuff, and I'm ready to get into it.
Yes, sir. Round one, indeed. And since we are talking about round one, to get to round one nowadays, you have to get past the play-in tournament. We're actually going to talk about that later in the show. Look how ready I was to talk about it. I ain't even going to lie. You know what's first, actually. What's first is El Boogie's GM Takes with segment number one. El Boogie, take it away. GM El Boogie, take it away.
All right, this week I'm stepping into the shoes of the GM for the Kansas City Chiefs,
Really?
defending Super Bowl champions. I know, yeah.
Easiest job in the
Uh,
league, huh?
I wouldn't even say it's the easiest. The GM for the Chiefs, he's low key been cooking. He's made like 18 draft picks, and like 14 of them are still on the team, like contributing. Like he's done a pretty good job. No wonder they won back to back Super Bowls.
He's everything
But
I
anyway,
wanted John Elway to be.
oh yeah, if only. Um, but yeah, so stepping into his shoes to see what do the Kansas City Chiefs do. Now, obviously, they're going for their third Super Bowl. You got Patrick Mahomes. You still got Travis Kelsey. You got a lot of the a lot of the key players returning. Though I think the biggest loss is L'Jarius Sneed, who's one of your starting corners. But other than that, this is pretty much the same Chiefs roster. The only issue that'll plague the Chiefs, in my opinion, they got two positional needs that are really important: wide receiver and offensive line.
Okay.
You got to say wide receiver because one, they also lost MVS this offseason, who wasn't great, but he was a solid, like enough player. Rasheed Rice, who was their star rookie last year, he's gonna get some sort of suspension for his off the field incident. Not going to go too far into that, but he's going to miss some time. Probably not the whole season, but could he get 6 games, 8 games? He could. So you need another piece. Yeah, Kadarius Toney, who was dropping passes in the postseason and throughout the season. Um, and outside of that, like who else are you throwing the ball to except for Travis Kelsey? And then on
Yeah.
the O line, their O line is just kind of okay. They overspent on the left tackle last year and Juwan Taylor. So you need a young, cheap piece to come in. Their center is really good. So it's really what do you do at the end of the first round if you're the Kansas City Chiefs? Me personally, if I'm the GM and I need to make a move so that we can go for this three-peat, I don't sit there at 32. I use the draft capital we have to try to move up in the first round to get
Okay.
a wide receiver. So you find a team that's picking in the early 20s and you try to get, the fourth or fifth best wide receiver on the book. Because at that point, you can only jump so high. You're not going to
Yeah.
jump into the top 5, top 10, probably not even the top 15. But a team like the Dallas Cowboys, they might I think they pick at like 22. Um, you trade with a team like that to make a move. So you go get a player that you're good with, that you're comfortable with, who can come in day one and contribute, not a developmental piece, talent, whatever. So you do that for the first round. You trade up, you draft a wide receiver, and then you make another move. You ditch the back end of your draft picks to try to move your second round pick, move that up like earlier in the second round to get something for the offensive line. Now, whether that be an internal offensive lineman or a tackle, you really need to bolster that O line to protect Patrick Mahomes. Because we saw what happened when Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl and his O line wasn't cutting it. Man got clobbered. So I say you trade up in the first round. Maybe even you use a future draft pick, like a draft pick from next year. You use that as ammunition to trade up, and then you try to
Okay.
move up in the second round as well, and draft some quality players who are going to step in and contribute and help you secure this three-peat that they're going to go for.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you. Alrighty. I think so. GML Boogie. I mean, you have it figured out. It's so hard to comment. I think I did the same thing last week when you really do just have it figured out. That's why I would say this is one of the easiest jobs, is because they're proving to you where like the holes exactly are. All throughout the season, they had it, and they had the same issue with the receivers. It didn't necessarily carry into the Super Bowl because they made it to the Super Bowl and actually won it, and they won it with a passing touchdown. Actually, an amazing drive at the end, in overtime. So, I mean, they've really narrowed it down. They're that good of a team where you could narrow down your problems very, very slim, and you have so many returning players that they've completely narrowed it down. I guess that's what comes with being great. Giving up more draft capital, I mean, as long as your core players are still there and you're not thinking like we need our safety for the next 3 years and hopefully sign them to like a huge contract after that. I think they really are just looking for receivers. So wouldn't make sense to give up a lot of stuff to get up. I think you got them figured out, GML Boogie. I think you got it figured out. I'm not gonna lie.
I just figure you got to do everything in your power to help you win this third championship in a row and make NFL history. So you
And
don't
as a
just sit there
GM,
because
you're in
all
a great position to do that. Be best.
yeah, they have all their draft picks this year and next year. So I think the worst thing they can do is sit at the end of every round and just wait for players to fall to fall to them. I think they
Yeah.
need to be aggressive. Go get the players that you want and that'll step in.
Okay. Okay. All right. That wraps up El Boogie's GM takes. I think that's a hell of a take. I think that's a little bit of an easy GM position to take. But with that
Easy
said,
one, I guess. Last one before the draft too, so we'll see how accurate I am.
yeah. But moving on into segment number 2 is El Boogie and the Bell's trivia. Of course, we're going to start with the Bell. That is me. And today, I'm going to hit you with a speedball, okay? So we're going to play over, under, and let's do 5. Let's do 5 to keep it quick. Let's do 5. Do 5 to keep it quick. Alrighty. So we're going to do over, under, and it's the same concept for each one. So over, under on playoff wins. I'm going to say it again because I just fumbled saying it. Today's trivia is going to be over, under on playoff wins based off of player. When you're ready, I will get started.
I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
LeBron James over, under 200 playoff games.
Playoff games or playoff wins?
Playoff games.
Oh, over.
Alrighty.
Easily.
Good.
Easy.
Good. That was a good practice one.
Actually, even the wins. So yeah.
Nope. See, you would have got that one wrong.
No? Really?
Well, I don't want to tell you because I don't want to mess it up for the other players because now I'm about to start doing wins and games.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over, under 160 playoff wins. A very older era basketball. They played the same amount of games, same amount of playoff. I think their playoffs was probably 3 and then championship. Or, 3 and then finals. I still think that.
He won a title with the Bucks and with the Lakers, so
And
he's had some long runs.
Very long career.
And a long career. Over?
Under.
He's under?
154 wins in the playoffs.
Oh, he's right there. Dang.
Kobe Bryant. Over, under 230 playoff games played.
Under.
Good job. All right. That was a good one. So 220 games total.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get a good one. Good one. Let's do Timothy Duncan. Over, under 155 career playoff wins.
Over.
157.
Mm-hmm.
This is a funny, hilarious one. Derek Fisher, over, under 160 playoff wins.
See, he was a career teammate with Kobe Bryant. Outside of the Kobe years, I'm not sure what else his career held, but he was with Kobe. He was with Kobe that for that long run. And you said over under 160, but Kobe
160.
was at like 150 something. I feel
Less
like
than that.
I don't know what Derek Fisher's career was like, so I'm gonna say over.
Oh man, I see. I was trying to trick you even with going like over under, and then just over. Derek Fisher, the second winningest player with the most wins in playoff games, with 161 playoff wins.
Really?
And so that was number 4. We're gonna do one more player, and then I'm gonna tell you what LeBron's is. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, over under 150 playoff wins.
Because I'm thinking they obviously the Bulls, but I'm thinking how many like clean sweeps did they have versus like 6 or 7 game series?
He started off rough too. He started off with first and second rounds throughout his early NBA career.
And you said
the
wins?
Later part of his career, huh?
Did you say wins or games?
Wins 150.
I'll say under.
Under. Good job. 119 playoff wins.
Whoa.
So when you're dominant, you're beating people really, really bad. And when you take time to get dominant, you don't have as many early playoff wins compared to teams like a rookie who starts on Golden State. Like at one point, Draymond was like the winningest player.
Okay.
With that being said, LeBron James actually does not have more than 200. He's actually sitting at the number 1 spot for playoff wins at 182.
182.
In 283 playoff games played. He's the closest to 300.
I hope he does not make it to 200 this year.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't either. I really don't.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't.
And would he mathematically be able to? 18? Yeah, he would. I mean, that's a lot of basketball.
Oh, it is, but like a
like
game, a 7 game series.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh, well, no, you only get 4.
Yeah, 6, 12, 18 in the finals. You could make 300.
Oh, if you're counting play-in games, yeah.
Just everything, yeah. Oh. Anyways.
Anyway.
With that being said, that was
okay. That was interesting. That was interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to my trivia question, Bell. I got an NFL draft related trivia question. Okay. This one pretty straightforward. I'm gonna ask you, can you name the last 10 first overall picks in for the last 10 years?
No. Let's get into it. Is Cam Newton in
the hint is there's
2015, right?
There's a lot of quarterbacks. No, Cam Newton was drafted in 2011.
Oh no, that's when he went to the Super Bowl. I am tripping.
Yeah.
Number 1 picks.
Number 1 picks. A lot of quarterbacks, mostly quarterbacks.
All right, well let's start
with 2 defensive players or 3 defensive players.
We'll start with Bryce Young.
Okay, easy. 2023.
2022. Quarterback.
That's gonna be the hardest.
Let's do Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. He was 2021.
Let's do. Jesus. There's no way Tua was number 1 overall.
Nope. 2022 is not a quarterback. That's gonna stump you, I think. That's a tough one.
All about to destroy me. I said Cam Newton, and Cam Newton's probably like 2009 with Von Miller.
He was 2011.
Okay. Dang, it only took them 4 years to go to the Super Bowl. That was cool. Let's think.
I think quarterbacks. A lot of these quarterbacks are still in the NFL. A lot of them are starting.
I need some hints. This is horrible.
Two have lost in the Super Bowls.
Is Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes definitely wasn't. And he's probably been in the league for way more
No,
years.
he was number 10th overall. He was drafted in 2017.
Dang, he's barely been here. Whoa. Oh, no, Lamar Jackson was not even close. He would have went to Louisville.
He was 32, I think.
Yeah, I was like, he went to Louisville, so I don't think they would have given him that kind of credit. Mac Jones definitely wasn't number one. He wasn't the best quarterback in his draft class. Well, this is horrible.
You're flaming out, man.
These past 10 years?
There was an offensive tackle in 2013.
I need some hints. Bad.
All right, so think quarterbacks. Let's see some hints. So
so Cleveland. Did Cleveland have how many quarterbacks from Cleveland did they get number ones in the past 10 years?
Just one.
Then is it old boy from Tampa Bay, Baker?
Exactly, Baker Mayfield, first overall in 2018. He was drafted over Lamar.
Okay.
Crazy.
Baker's cooking.
Think a former Rams quarterback.
Wow, Jared Goff couldn't have been a number one overall.
Jared Goff, first overall, 2016, out of Cal.
Caleb Williams?
Yeah, you're flaming. I mean, if we're projecting. Think a short guy.
I said Bryce Young.
Another short guy. Short and speedy.
Short, speedy quarterback?
Yeah. Elusive.
Short, speedy, elusive quarterback. Oh my God, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, 2019, first overall out of Oklahoma. You're missing a pretty obvious one. Like a guy who's actually like pretty good in the league right now. Been to a Super Bowl.
Oh, Joey B, man.
Joe Burrow, pandemic year, first overall.
LSU, king of the year, man.
All right, I'm going to give you two more guesses. Right now, you're just kind of missing one quarterback and two defensive ends. I don't think you're going to get the defensive ends, but...
If it's not Khalil Mack, which I don't think he was even a first round.
Nope. He was a first round.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
He was undersized or under height, supposedly.
Think one of the funniest quarterbacks in the league.
There's no
Jameis
Winston's the first person who goes in my mind. It wasn't him.
Jameis Winston, first overall. He was 2015.
I wonder how they feel about that. He's not a bad quarterback.
I don't.
He's on another level.
Hey, I'd like to have him on my roster as a backup.
I would love for Jameis Winston to
just for the vibes.
Starting quarterback of the Broncos next year. I think that would be a lot of fun.
It'd be funny. I don't know if it'd be fun.
I think he'll have fun. Any quarterback who can get
12
yards up the field,
he'll have fun.
Is a good time. He'd be more fun than Teddy Bridgewater. Let's do.
You got three defensive ends. You're out of quarterbacks. They're all DMs.
There's no way.
Think Cleveland.
Wow, he's really a number one overall in the entire NFL.
Myles Garrett.
Really?
Drafted first overall. They had back-to-back first overall picks.
But I knew who it was. I'm like, whoa.
You knew who it was. I knew you knew who I was. He was number one overall.
Dopeness.
I think the next two, I think it's going to be impossible for you to get.
Give me 1 and 2.
2022, Trayvon Walker out of Georgia. Defensive end to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was like one of the most confusing first overall picks. Like,
I mean, if you have Trevor Lawrence, I get it, but is that what they need? He was probably the best pick after that.
It was. I think they should have traded that pick, but anyway, hindsight. And then in 2014, defensive end Jadeveon Clowney.
Wow, I should have thought of that one. That's when we were in high school. I remember that.
Jadeveon Clowney.
Like I remember
the play when he He took a I don't know, some running back from Michigan. He took his head off, man.
Yeah,
Oh, I
his
remember
highlight
that.
tape was pretty nasty. South Carolina's very own. Okay, that was I could have got that one. I probably definitely needed a hint for that. But I do
I
remember
thought
the
you were gonna
hype
get
of
the
J.J.
quarterbacks,
McCartney.
but
Alrighty, man. I botched that one just a wee bit. So, just a little slow. I did better than I thought. Needed some hints for that one. But anyways, moving on into our segment number 3, our topics of the day, El Boogie and the Bell is gonna. Well, topic number 1. I mean, it's pretty obvious. We're gonna review this last week. Yeah, last week Friday play in game. So we're gonna do Tuesday and Friday. I think those were the days the games were on. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. El Boogie. How do we feel about who's out and who's in?
I think overall the plan kind of went how I thought it would. I honestly did think that the Miami Heat were going to beat the 76ers to get the 7th seed,
What a
and then
game.
the 76ers would get the 8th seed. Yeah, good game. Unfortunate for the Heat. Unfortunate to lose Jimmy Butler
I mean, that's worst scenario.
the way they did. Like, eh. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they bounced back the next game. They annihilated the Hawks. So they bounced back, but now they're down Jimmy and they're playing against the Celtics. They lost pretty bad today too, so it's not
They were
looking.
playing
It's not
hard to start
looking.
the game.
I mean, playing hard, but that only
So
gets
you're
you
not
so
shocked at
far.
the West at all? Because that's who I want to talk about.
The Lakers over the Pelicans. I think actually, you know what's funny? I was watching that game. I think what sold it for the Pelicans was Zion getting
Yeah.
injured. And he was having a crazy game. He had like a 40-point game. He got injured with like 4 minutes left, and the Pelicans just couldn't put it together without him. So I think that screwed the Pelicans over. Um, yeah, the fact that like he was I was just saying I think last week how he was having such a good season and he was like
Mm-hmm.
being healthy, and then that happens, and yeah, he's out for weeks now. So I mean, with the Lakers, they played a solid game. They won that one. The Kings Warriors. I was surprised the Warriors shot as bad as they
I
did.
wasn't
Like,
surprised. I wasn't surprised
really,
by
you thought they
Clay's.
were gonna shoot
I
that
think
bad?
Clay's performance determines a lot of their success.
But Clay went 0
And I
for
think that's
10.
like
Like
when you're ice
that doesn't
cold,
happen.
it really lets you know where you guys are in age, where you guys are in chemistry, and where you guys are playing as a team. I remember a playoff game where I think it was when Clay was injured. Maybe one of the seasons he was out for the full year, but I remember Steph put up like 50 and like he was just exhausted and drained. I'm just thinking like he's not gonna do this years from now. Like it's impossible. And they still did lose that game and lose that series. It was actually 2020. It was or 2019. That was years ago. That was like 5 years ago. During the finals. I saw it there, and I just felt like now it's 2024, and they're like the drainedness. I just feel like the team came to play just completely drained. So like going over 10, I'm like, there's no way anybody's having a good shooting night. Like that was like the icing on the cake for their season.
Yeah, it was kind of a sad out, and it's not that I'm like surprised they lost, but just the way that they lost, it was kind of heartbreaking. And then the Kings went on and then lost to the Pelicans, so like didn't really
Not at
amount to
all.
much.
Yeah. So with the East, I think I would love for us to like after the season talk about what the Hawks are gonna do because I want to see Trae Young get back to a conference championship. That team is just not it, and I don't know how many prime years he has left. And I truly, truly enjoy watching Trae Young play. I watched the Bulls and the Hawks game, and there was this dude on the Bulls who was just going, "Yeah, yo!" I don't even know the dude's name, but he was just going crazy on them. But I would love to see Trae Young get put in a position where he could get back to like be sneaky like they did in whatever year. What was it, the Bucks or something? whatever year they made the conference championship. It might have been the bubble all the way.
Right. Yeah, the thing is, I think some people are thinking that they're gonna trade
I would
Trae
hope
Young.
so. I just hope he ends up in a better position, if not the best position.
I think it'd be interesting if they sent him to the Spurs.
Okay, I like that.
Send him,
Short.
go send him to the Spurs. Teams up with Wemby.
Gods, yeah. Conference
that
championship
might
2
make it
years from
interesting.
now. Yeah,
and
I like that. And
maybe that's cool, but yeah, they might not even keep him. They might build around the Hawks might build around DeJounte Murray.
All right, and then who else did I have? Yeah, the Heat was just heartbreaking. Sixers, that boy Joel Embiid, he wow. We'll talk about his week 1 playoff game. That boy, wow. That boy dangerous out there. And then the West, yeah, the Warriors icing on the cake. I expected everything the Lakers to do, and then let's just go right into playoff. All right, so I guess topic number 2 is our playoff week game 1s. How do we feel about game after all the game 1s? Tonight we still have Pelicans and Thunder.
Pelicans
Pacers
and Thunder
just fought back, but still lost to the Bucks 109-94. We could go over a couple of the games. We could start with actually the best worst series. I say it's the best series because they're pretty evenly matched. I say it's the worst series because neither team scored over 100 points in the first game, and plus I really don't care about either team. How do you feel about Magic and Cavs after game 1?
Hey, I'm still standing on my pick that the Cavs are gonna do something. I'm still standing on it. I watched that game when I was at the gym. The Cavs have talent on that team, and I think what I like about them is they have size and they have bigs that can help space. Evan Mobley, he plays the 4. He can shoot threes. Like, he's not afraid to. You have Donovan Mitchell. You have Darius Garland, who was playing out of his mind in game 1 against the Magic. So I will admit, it is probably the least entertaining first round matchup. Maybe the Heat Celtics, but it's at the bottom for sure. But I don't know. I like the Cavs. I think the Cavs are gonna. If the Cavs end up making it to the conference finals, I'm gonna.
I've seen no highlights from this game. I've seen nobody talk about it. All I've noticed is that neither team scored over 100 points in the first playoff game. Barely. I guess the Cavs almost made it. I got the Cavaliers winning it. I have a funny theory about the Cavs. They're the unentertaining version of OKC to me. Honestly.
Really?
Like, when I think of their roster and like the pace, I think of them.
I don't know, because they're a lot. Because OKC's a lot younger.
How old is the Cavs?
A lot younger.
Their backcourt's old.
I wouldn't say super old, but like Donovan Mitchell's not a young guy. Jared Allen, their center, he's not a young guy. Evan Mobley, they're not young.
They just remind me of them. I don't know why.
Interesting. I mean, middle of America.
Something about it.
Franchise that hasn't done much the last couple years. I can see the similarities.
Shouts out Markelle Fultz. I cannot believe he's still in the league.
Yeah, he's been like buried away on the Magic.
And got 0 points, 1 assist. Not good.
To think, wasn't he? He was the number 1 overall pick.
What's funny?
Too,
I was gonna say somebody super hilarious for what's it called? For the first round picks. I was gonna say Markelle Fultz. I was gonna do NBA players. All right. Anyways, moving a little faster. Suns, Timberwolves.
Whoo, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is a dog. I would not be surprised if he's the best player in the NBA in like a year or two. Like, just the confidence that he was playing with. He was shooting lights out, and he was in KD's face. Like, he was in KD's face. He was playing good defense. Their team in general was playing great defense, like really getting in the Suns. But yeah, I was surprised that they beat him like that. What did you think?
I think the Suns don't have the chemistry to compete this year with a team like that. I think the Timberwolves have absolute chemistry. The only way the Suns possibly would win this series is if they won if they went to the finals last year or won the finals last year, but there's no like they're still picking up the piece of making a real team out of the current team or roster constructed. Lost Aiton over this year, so it's like the chemistry is just not there. The chemistry is not there, and you're playing a team in the first round where their chemistry is 110% there. After game one, it just lets me know that they're out. And Anthony Edwards, they list him as 6'4". I really do think he's 6'2", and I'd rather him be 6'2" because it just lets you know how dominant he is. Because you can tell he's like a shorter guy out there, but man, that boy a dog. That boy he having fun. I just like how much fun he had in that game one. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's making it. I hope past the second round, but we'll see. Sixers Knicks.
This game I wasn't super interested in. I mean, I think Joel Embiid, he got banged up a little bit, but was able to come back and play. But that just shows you right there, he's not 100%. And I think that team is pretty dependent on him being available and being at his best. So I think it might end up being like a 5-game series win for the Knicks.
I wish. I mean, the Knicks are gonna win this series. I just hope Joel Embiid entertains us more throughout the series. I wish Jalen Brunson had more exciting plays because I don't think people appreciate how well he does play. Shout out for Josh Hart. He just consistent buckets, like for real, for real. A lot of minutes to like play the whole game. Their roster is not that fun, but when you watch them, it's good basketball.
With Jalen Brunson, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me a lot of Jamal Murray.
You know what I mean? Like it's not
in the
like,
sense that he'll get you a bucket, but there's never like it's never exciting. But like he'll go crazy one game and have 40 points, but usually it's just like a consistent solid buckets.
He could score. He could have
but
like
nothing crazy.
A low key 50. Like you should never really have a low key 50, but he's one of those guys who's like, yeah, I low key just put up 50. Like, damn, you was just shooting. You just had a couple layups and a lot of free throws. It's like, yeah, but I did make 4 threes on y'all. Like he's one of those guys, just a low key. And my bad. Number 3 is the Timberwolves. They're definitely losing in the second round. By the way, my bad. Lakers Nuggets. Speaking of losing in the second round, Lakers Nuggets.
Ooh, that game, it made me a little nervous. The Lakers were playing with energy. They started out hot. The Nuggets were down 12 points at one point in the second quarter, and they weren't looking like they were going to get it going. But then the third quarter, they just struck a match. Just went fire, ended up, building a big lead and taking it home. And I think with this series, I think it's going to come down to how good the Lakers motor or how long their motor can last, because the first half they were playing with energy and intensity. Second half they just dwindled down. They got sloppier. They weren't getting good production out of D'Lo. So if they come with energy and I mean LeBron's doing LeBron. He looked like LeBron of all time. But if they don't come with energy, this could be a 5-game series.
So I believe you are 110% wrong. I think the Lakers did the opposite of what they should have done. The Lakers came out hot. They looked like they really wanted to win this game. They looked like they gave it all. The only problem is you're playing a team with good chemistry. So when they were doing all that, I'm like, why are they going all out? Like, why don't you guys fill out the series? Why don't you look at what the Nuggets do best, which you already know based off of 0-9, or 0-8, now 0-9. Like, I would look at how they approached this playoff game in the first 2 quarters and then try to pace them based off of that and then explode in the second half. Like, no, we're not old. We're not played out. We're a better team than we were, or we're here to play and take over. Them coming out that hot, and they came out hot. Like, they came out hot for real. Like, LeBron shooting crazy stuff. Like, that was the worst thing they could have did, because a team with a lot of chemistry knows how to play the pace of basketball, especially a formal finals championship team. They're playing at a pace, and I mean, they're playing at a slower pick and roll pace at the top with what's his name, with Murray and Jokic. Like, they know what they're doing, and they know what they're doing consistently. Like, I don't know why they came out so hot. I think they should have felt out the series more. I mean, felt out the game more, played their pace, and then explode on them in the second half and let them know this is what the rest of the series is going to look like. Now the Nuggets have seen their best and they know what pace that they have to get these guys out in. Honestly, 4 games, but you say 5. I'll stick with that.
I say 5 because I don't see a sweep here.
They came in. They gave them everything they got
I
and
don't I
couldn't
don't see
win
a
within
sweep.
10, like within 5. They won within 10, but within 5, and you gave it everything you got for 2 quarters.
Well, I'll keep it like this. Austin Reeves and D'Lo had terrible games. They're not gonna have terrible games every game. Like there's gonna be a night where it all just kind of clicks together for them. So that's why I'm like, all right, they're gonna get one. I think I see the Lakers at least getting one win out of this series.
2 L's in LA,
Um,
man.
but but yeah, I think the first game in every series is really a
And they
feel out
went
game.
hard. I'm like, oh man, they're not playing.
They were LeBron was going crazy that first half. He was going nuts. He hit like a buzzer beater
Bro,
3 to end the
they had
first
60 points
half.
in the
Like
first half. Granted, the Nuggets had 57, but 60 points in the first half. I'm like, they gave it all. They finished with 103 points.
yeah,
There's a difference. They gave everything they had, got
they
outpaced by
crashed.
a consistent team in the second half. I mean, they're going to know what to do from the start of the game to the end of the game, every game for the rest of the series. Not saying that we had the Lakers winning at any point. It's just pace. Don't come out so hot on these boys. They know what they're doing. They're professionals.
Hey, and I think AD got tired.
AD was
there's like a
balling.
clip.
He
There's like
had
a
what,
clip in
20
the
in the
second.
first quarter, half.
He did, but there was like a clip in the second half where like he was like on his knees, like hunched over, breathing, and Jamal and Jokic are running down the court for a fast break, and he's just, just
And I
kind of
don't want to run
tired.
on
So
the Nuggets and the Lakers. Bro, think about it. You're playing a mile high. Like, this isn't your guys' climate. This isn't sunny side California. This isn't LA. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. Maybe it's me. They came out way too hot. And I think when they go to LA, they're gonna do the opposite. The only thing about that is that the Nuggets actually want to gas out in the first quarters in LA. So I say 4 games. I could see 5. 0-9, Lavelle. 9 games straight. But yeah, maybe they could get one.
I see them getting one. I see
Fair
them
enough.
getting one, but we'll see.
Heat Celtics. My second least interesting series.
I mean, we all have a feeling of how this is gonna go. The Celtics are gonna get the easy walk through here. I mean, the Celtics did what they do. You know, Jason Tatum had a triple double, great game. Derek White went off. Kristaps had a really good game too. So it seems like all their their top players they all performed. They only played 7 players, which is they only played 7, which is kind of interesting. Um, and the Heat they just don't have the firepower. Like you just don't. Without Jimmy to light a spark underneath your ass, like I don't see
I
it.
think the
So
Celtics don't
I don't know.
fumble
What
the
do you think?
bag until conference championship or finals. So that's literally just discrediting the Heat for even being in the playoffs, but it is what it is. Celtics in 4. Celtics in 4. One of the only sweeps on the first round. The a fun series, and we predicted it'd be a fun series. And believe it or not, guess who didn't play today? Mr. Kawhi Leonard. Mavericks and Clippers. Who you got?
I picked the Clippers to win this series. And they came out today. It felt like a throwback. Like James Harden and Russell Westbrook
Yeah.
dominated the first half. Like legit, like dominated. Like Paul George had a good game too. Their center Zubac, he had a really good game too. But James Harden looked like Houston James Harden, like unguardable, ISO 1-on-1, just a bucket. So I think the Clippers gave the Mavericks everything they had, and the Mavericks just couldn't keep up. But I'll acknowledge the Mavericks had like a terrible shooting night, like an way below average shooting night. Even though Luca and Kyrie both had 30-point games, they shot so bad. Like you can't win any game when you shoot as
Which
bad as they
scares
did
me because
today.
what
So
happens when they're making their shots? Like, what happens when they're in Dallas and it's just going in? Like, what happens when it's just Dunkin' Donuts?
I think it'll be a series. I project that this series is gonna go 2-0 heading to Dallas, and then Dallas is gonna tie it up at home. Like I think this is gonna be a guaranteed 6 or 7 game
This is
series.
what I loved about this game. They scored 109 points. Russell Westbrook got 13 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. That's exactly what he's there to do. At best, you could give him 5 more points, but only on 2 more shot attempts, which is perfect. So you might as well just keep him at 13 with exactly as many shot attempts he took. Crazy, perfect. We want that, and it felt like exciting Russell Westbrook. So that's good. That means that he knows his role. They still let him do his thing, and he's gonna do it how he wants to because he understands it and knows his role. James Harden had 28 points. The rest of the stats don't matter. I guess he had 8 assists. I mean, that's still pretty amazing. Sharing the basketball, they were going dumb. And Paul George had 22 points. Zubiak covered Kawhi Leonard's points, but it's like, how does everybody get adjusted when Kawhi comes back? And that's what kind of concerns me with is like, this man didn't play game one. Whatever game he does end up playing, like, what's that adjustment like knowing that these guys fired on all cylinders game one? So I'm like, that creates an interesting tagline for me. Is it better
For
or
sure, but it
worse
may
or
be
more
the point.
dominant? Like, you don't know.
I think it all depends on how, because I don't know when Kawhi is going to come back. Let's assume he's not going to come back for the next game or two. If the Clippers win game 2 and game 3, you might as well just keep Kawhi on the bench. Like, let him come in next series.
Oh,
Let him
okay.
get fully healthy and
Okay,
then
I
bring
got
him
you.
in. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, let him like fully rest. Like, if you guys are up that big in the series, there's no rush. Like, let the other players are playing
See, I
fine
just
without
always
him.
feel like
He'll come back second round.
Kawhi's such a tough one because it's just like it's always at some time, like some convenient time. Like, bro, this is a very inconvenient time. So I'm like, I don't know, super inconvenient time. But I like the way that team played. I just know that that's not the full team. So what happens when the full team does assemble? Does it get more dominant, or will they have to adjust and end up taking 2 losses to Dallas and Dallas based off of having to adjust to the full team? So that's an interesting storyline for me. I could be completely wrong, and they end up winning in 5 games when Kawhi comes back. Um, a boring. This was a good game only because this is like one of the only games I watched all the way through. I watched the Lakers and Nuggets game all the way through. Pacers Bucks happened a couple hours ago here. What you think?
I was a little worried for the Bucks without Giannis being on the court because I mean the Pacers are one of the top scoring teams in the league. Like, if there was a team to pull an upset, it would be the Pacers. But the Bucks handled business, and more specifically, Dame Dalla
Game time.
handled business. Like he came in and just took it over. He's done what he's done his whole career. Pulling up from almost the logo, a walking bucket, like, and he was playing with energy. Like, he actually looked like he was like happy playing, like having a really good time. Like you said, Anthony Edwards was having fun.
Fun.
Damian Lillard was having fun. So I don't know, with them playing like that, better watch
I
out,
know.
Pacers.
I think it's over. Like I just don't. So if you look at the Bucks roster today, and I'm not saying in past time since this roster is put without Giannis, I like the roster. Like I like Chris Middleton getting buckets. I like Bobby Portis getting buckets. I like Brook Lopez moving slow than a goddamn. He's the slowest thing out there getting buckets. He ended the game with 4 rebounds with 32 minutes. Like, bro, you're too big. But Patrick Beverly out there fouling people for no reason. Like, he had a foul, and I'm just like, okay, you're off the bench, so that makes sense. That was a little crazy, but he was out there doing his thing. I like this team. I did not know Jay Crowder was there, but I like this team a lot. I think they're smacking the Pacers. That's what I'm saying. Long story short.
I think this series it could be similar to the Clippers Mavericks
Oh,
series in the sense that if this team, like if the Bucks, if they win game 2 and 3 without Giannis, you don't rush to
yeah.
bring Giannis back. Like, you let him, like, if he, I mean, they may be like, oh, he could come back game 3. Nah, if y'all are up 3-0, keep him out to the second round. You know what I mean? Because there's no, especially with this Pacers team. I mean, I don't see this being a sweep. I really don't.
When you're
But
up 3 games, and if Giannis could come back, it's probably best to get into playoff shape. So I would say come back. Other than that, if he is really hurt, then yeah, definitely sit this series out because I don't think there's no urgent push yet. Let's get this series is over. There's no urgent push yet, so I think Giannis should be like he should be sleeping really well tonight based off of what he saw. He should be very excited as well.
saying a series is over after game one is
Not
crazy.
really.
I mean, sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. So
well, we'll talk about that later. We can pick back after this is over. So whoever I'm completely wrong with. All right, last one has not happened. Is actually going to happen pretty soon here. Pelicans Thunder game 1.
I got the Thunder. Thunder are taking the series. The Pelicans don't have Zion, so you're really dependent on like Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum to be your offense. But it's hard to replace Zion and the athletic beast that he is. So, the Thunder are just energetic, talented. They could shoot. They could take it in. Like they're just a. I don't see how they could lose this series.
Kawhi
I really
and
don't.
Zion, man, those are the only 2 people that I'm just begging. I want to just see it. Like I just want to see it. Like I want to see Zion Williamson go all out, like he was going against the Lakers. If we could see that, then I'll have faith in it, no matter what. Like at least this could go 7 games. Like why not? It's just not. That's not the scenario, and it just sucks that it worked out that way. But that's what we got. OKC in 5. Fair enough.
That might be a sweep. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's a
I would
sweep.
not be surprised whatsoever as well. Alrighty, I think that wraps up about another one. El Boogie.
As always, thank you everybody for tuning in to El Boogie and The Bell. Make sure you like us on TikTok, YouTube. Watch the videos, leave a comment, man. We just gave you a lot of takes on these NBA playoffs games, and we're in the midst of it. So let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what we got right. Let us know what we got wrong. And yeah, hey, we'll be here same time next week. Next week we'll continue talking about playoffs, breakdown of the NFL draft. Make sure y'all tune in.